My name is Mike Lucas, CEO of TrueShares, and we're here today because we are ringing the closing bell at SIBO in recognition of the Folds of Honor Foundation. And with me today for a brief chat are several people that have been affected by the Folds of Honor Foundation in pretty amazing ways, I think, and we're going to talk to each of them. To my left, first and foremost, is Jake Green, retired Green Beret, and Steve Drum, to his left, retired Navy SEAL, and Patrick Galley on the end, and Patrick is the CEO of River North Capital. So I think we'll start, Steve, with you, if that's all right, because I know that you are actively an ambassador for the Folds of Honor Foundation. And could you tell us a bit about the foundation, what it does, and how you got connected with it?
Yeah, so I became connected with Folds of Honor out here in Chicagoland in 2016. And Folds of Honor is a foundation, a charity foundation that provides scholarships to the families of fallen and severely disabled servicemen and women, as well as, since 2022, first responders, law enforcement. And it is a very specific, precise, and clean mission. It's very simple, and I think that's part of the draw for me. And as of today, they have filled more than 51,000 scholarships, and that equates to more than $200 million worth of scholarships. And I think just a proven track record run by an elite cadre of leadership at every level of operations within Folds. And so I'm really pleased to be a part of it, being able to represent Folds of Honor. I'm really proud of the work that they do.
Yeah, thank you. Those numbers are astounding. They really are. And I think it speaks to the impact that Folds has had, and certainly the support that it garners in not only the military community, but the financial community as well, which is why we're here, and obviously all walks of life. It's just such a great cause. And now we talk about scholarships, which is obviously one of the reasons why we have Jake here. And Jake, if you could speak a little bit about how Folds of Honor has impacted your life, certainly with your family.
Absolutely.
And so on.
So Folds has impacted my family and my personal life. Is my oldest son is a Folds scholarship recipient. And in second grade, right after COVID, went back to school, and we had a parent-teacher conference right off the bat. Usually not a good thing, right? And the teacher noticed that my oldest son, Mark, was struggling. And Mark, come to find out, has a learning disability. And so because Mark is a Folds of Honor recipient, our family was also able to hire a tutor to help Mark. He has severe dyslexia. And so for that first year and a half of Mark learning his dyslexia, having that tutor, Mark went from hating reading, getting aggravated at school, to now he loves it. He's an A and B student in fifth grade, loves math, loves science, and most nights have to go in his bed and turn off his light to stop reading. So Folds has greatly impacted my life and the 51,000 other recipients out there.
It's fantastic. Thanks for sharing that with us. And Patrick, I know that Folds has acted as an inspiration for FLDZ, which is the ETF that is created or has been created to benefit Folds of Honor. Can you speak a little bit about the inspiration behind that and how you got connected to the foundation?
Yeah, sure. So first of all, thank you so much for making the trek in for the bell ringing. It's awesome. You guys came in. I got goosebumps just even hearing the beginning of this. And it goes back to actually a golf outing in my hometown, Barrington, Illinois. There was a charity event, and one of the auction items was a trip to the Patriot Golf Club down in Tulsa, Oklahoma, where also Dan Rooney, the founder of the Folds of Honor, is from. And 8 of us, went down there, 8 guys playing golf, had a great time. And the one rule that I think you might all know when you go to the Patriot Club is at 1,300 hours. That's the only rule. You got to stop, no golf, no talking, no nothing, and everybody pays respect, right? 1,300 hours because there's 13 folds of the flag. And I remember going, wow, we're frankly having some beers and drinking and laughing and, having fun. But all of a sudden, the bells start going off at 1,300 hours, and you stop and goosebumps on your arms. I was like, wow, okay, this is a bigger moment than just playing golf. For those that, given the ultimate sacrifice, disabled, etc., it was life-changing, actually. So I walked away saying, you know what, we can write a check. That's great. We'll support, the $200 million that they've given away already. But what else could we do that's more than that? So, we run an investment firm, and we said, you know what, we launch funds. we can launch a fund that we have historically gained profits from, but let's give those profits away. So at least half the fees and all the profits go to the Folds of Honor. And that's the genesis behind the River North Patriot Fund, ticker FLDZ.
And from a True Shares perspective, we're honored that you chose us to work with on that. But in the end, I think what Patrick and River North have done, the small contributions True Shares has made to the effort, it all starts with what both of you have done and what your families have done for our country, for our freedom, and hopefully put that message across that Patrick and I are here to help support in ways that we're capable of doing. But I think what the Folds of Honor means to you and the messaging around it, I really would like to hear how it resonates personally to each of you and what you think it can mean for the wider, interpretation of military charities, the wider interpretation of charities in general, and how this can be embraced in American society.
Yeah, I think getting to work with Folds of Honor for a number of years, it's given me insight into a couple of things. And obviously, primarily the focus, the mission of Folds of Honor is to honor the sacrifice, educate the legacy, and they do that very, very well. Beyond that, though, what often never gets talked about is the fact they also employ a whole host of veterans and their families as well. And one of the things that is really important to me, one of the things that I think doesn't get talked about enough as well, is that when Folds of Honor is out there doing great work and being publicized, and the message that it sends to our nation is this is important. Honor, service, sacrifice is important, because at the end of the day, we are always going to need young men and women to pick up the shield in defense of our nation and go forward. And so we need to inspire them by doing things and supporting the folks that go out there and do this, both domestically as well as in the military.
Very well said. I couldn't agree more. And I know, Jake, I think you're pretty passionate about that message as well.
Yeah, I think you bring up a great point, Steve. I know when I was injured, it was kind of towards the tail end of the global war on terror, and deployment after deployment starts wearing on not only yourself, but your family, as well as your teammates. And sometimes you start questioning towards the end, like, what are we doing this for? No one seems to really care. And then when I was injured, I couldn't have been more wrong, noticing how America truly does care. And Folds of Honor, like Dan Rooney, and like you said, Steve, the whole staff, they don't do it because it's a job. They do it because they're passionate about it, and it shows. And it's just absolutely amazing.
Well, I can tell you, Patrick, I'm sure you have your perspective on this as well, but we've been involved in several Folds of Honor events at this point, and it's life-changing to interact with veterans like yourselves, both active and retired servicemen, and certainly the families. Interacting with the scholarship recipients. In many moments, it's heartbreaking, but then very uplifting, and it solidifies certainly our inspiration behind doing this, and solidifies the idea that this isn't a choice. It's a calling. Like, you have to be able to get up and support this cause, because, like you said, Steve, there needs to be future generations that pick up the shield, and there needs to be a support network for that, and hopefully, alongside Folds of Honor, we can continue to try and deliver that. And Patrick, I'm sure you want to add to that.
Going to the office every day after experiencing some of the Folds events, and you're going back into the office, and you're like, man, what are we doing when you guys were, again, paying the ultimate sacrifice? So thank you again for your support for our country. Man, truly appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thanks. I think one more thing too is, our children, they didn't sign up and they didn't volunteer for this. And they're the ones that our wives, our spouses, and they're the ones who are, in my opinion, more affected by the jobs and the careers that we choose to do. And so Folds of Honor, again, taking care of the family, again, as a recipient, as a father, it means a lot to me.
That's a great point.
Absolutely. Well, we're all happy that Folds of Honor is here and continuing to do its great work. And we're going to hop on over to the SIBO, and we're going to ring the bell, or both of you are going to be up on the platform with us to ring the bell. And we hope it's a unique experience for you as well. But so we're going to recognize the Folds of Honor and we're doing this to try and give back in some way that can be impactful to support the ongoing efforts of Folds of Honor and a mission that we all think is clearly near and dear to not only the hearts of military families and certainly veterans like yourselves, but should be to every American. And moving forward, that's one of our mission goals, is to continue to espouse the benefits of Folds of Honor, do it through FLDZ, and create something that can continuously give back to the community that served us so well over the years.
Oh, thank you.
Awesome. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Yeah, no, thank you.